Guys, I'm looking for an old truck. Older model truck, rather. 06 model. 06 model? Uh-oh. I may have to whip out the infamous DRB. Hey, this look like it right here. I might have to whip out the DRB for this one, guys. Only a couple of people, only a couple of shops on this side of town have such a tool. And yes, I will really need it on this, guys. What's going on is I don't even think they was able to scan this. What's going on is it stalls out while driving. Oh, it's a stick. So it stalled out on them. Get this, guys. They called the tow truck, right? So by the time the tow truck get there, it started. So what that insinuates, now y'all know fuel pressure. Y'all understand fuel pressure and the importance of the correct amount of fuel pressure. Yes, I'm sure we all understand that. Well, anyway, this year model, there is no fuel pressure sensor. Okay, so the computer have no idea how much pressure is running through the rail as compared to today's cars. All right, today's like the Pacifica, all the new trucks, they now have a fuel pressure sensor mounted in series on the fuel rail. So now it can tell the computer, look, this fuel pump is pushing, let's say, 60 psi pressure. All right, so you will likely get a fault code. That's likely a window, okay? Let's say between 40 and 50, that sensor will set some type of fault code. Well, mechanics don't have to do much work when such technology exists. In this year model, 2006, that technology did not exist. So we had to go the mechanical route. If and only if you suspect fuel pressure as your problem. All right, now that's a big if, guys. We got to have a complaint like stalling out or bogging down, things like that. Okay, you're not on every complaint you're going to whip out a fuel pressure gauge. So I'm going to drive this. Hopefully it do not stall out on me. That's the risk in taking a test drive on cars that have a problem. But now, the reason I'm suspecting fuel pressure, I'm going to go do some tests, but let me explain why I suspect fuel pressure. It's because they say it stalled out on them. They was able to pull over. He called a tow truck. By the time the tow truck got there, it started right back up. Now, guys, you got to understand what a fuel pump is. It's a fuel pump motor. That is one part you can actually call a motor. I get confused when I hear people call an engine a motor. Motor is typically designed for electronically, all right? Meaning you need 12 volts and a ground to operate such a device. Fuel pump is that way. Yes, I need 12 volts and a ground to operate an electronically controlled or an electronic fuel pump motor, fuel pump module, whatever they call it these days. Now, my thinking is when that fuel pump reaches a certain temperature, how much gas in this? Yes, we got enough gas. Guys, also keep in mind the liquid fuel can help keep parts like a fuel pump kind of cool a little bit, so it's not going to overheat as opposed to running your car dry, no oil. But I'm suspecting that fuel pump gets hot, stop working. By the time it cool down, it's ready to run again. Now, you, on the other hand, as being a mechanic, you have to verify that you have a constant supply of 12 volts and a ground, okay? Because without the electronics, the electricity, without the 12 volts of the ground, it doesn't matter what the fuel pump doing. So if you convinced or sure that 12 volts and ground is constantly at the fuel pump, but your fuel pump is shutting in and out, then it's simple. You have a problem with the mechanical fuel pump. All right, guys, I'm talking too much, but I'm telling y'all where I'm headed with this diagnosis, and some of you guys need to hear this. Yes, the newer cars is becoming easier to diagnose. The computer doing most of the work for you. But for all you veterans that's working on 06 model, this is 06 model. Our scan tool won't even talk to this car. I'm going to need a special scan tool. But first, I'm going to go drive, guys. And because it's a stick, I cannot hold a device and drive at the same time. So, with that being known and said, guys, y'all stay tuned, man. And when I get back in the shop, we'll talk some more. All right, stay tuned. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am now in the shop. Just got to test driving this older model Dakota. I want to say 2006. All right, now guys, I said I might have to use my DRB, but in 2006 year model, that was a cross year. Okay, I can get away with using my Y pod. All right, because remember, guys, on the 2006 PT Cruiser, I use my Y pod. So it's not all 2006. It really depends on the bus network, guys. So what I'm gonna do is try my pod first, okay? Because if not, I have to whip out my DRB. But it's all about the bus network as far as which scan tool you can use. If this is not equipped with the updated bus network as some 2006, just say for instance a 2006 Chrysler Pacifica, you can't use the Y pod with that car, but I can use it on my 2006 PT Cruiser, or maybe this. I don't know yet. Well, I'm gonna plug my pod in now, and we're gonna go. Let's take a look at the engine first, guys. I'm gonna leave it running because what we want to see. Remember, we chasing stall outs. Okay, we want to find out. I'm suspecting fuel, but you don't give a diagnosis off suspicious, guys. You got to be sure. This is people's hard-earned money you playing with. They want results, and they want to make sure what you're saying is accurate. So we need to verify this stuff. Hey, this is the old V6 3.7 liter engine, guys. Now, I just almost can guarantee there's a fuel rail Schrader valve on this vehicle, but I, for life of me, cannot find my fuel pressure tester. Remember I told you about the PCM, if you're missing a slot, green is always designated for automatic transmission function, but because this truck is equipped with a stick transmission, a manual transmission, you don't have nothing in there. All right, so don't panic if you have nothing in that connector. All right, guys, I left my pod plugged in, so I'm gonna go to the computer and look at some data. Now, still do not guess at fuel pressure, guys. Even though you don't have a gauge, I might have to go borrow one, but I have another way I can tell if the truck was once losing fuel pressure, and what I'm talking about is adaptive memory. Some of y'all scan tool refers to it as fuel trim. All right, let's go to the computer. All right, guys, yes, I can, however, communicate with this truck via my white pod, and as you can see, hey, the radio is off the bus. That must be an aftermarket radio. Oh no, see guys, this is when you really gonna have to work. This means that the computer, the PCM, did not detect any problems in the engine engine controls. Okay, let's look at all DTCs, probably stuff, yeah, lost communicate radio things. All right, so what do you do now, guys? That doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with the car. Don't ever suspect just because there's no check engine light that there's nothing wrong with the car. You have to dig in and find out. Number one, first of all, you will, or you should, go through all lengths, go through everything to duplicate the concern. On the test drive I just went on, I'm unable to duplicate it. So what I'm gonna do is stroll down to, I want to take a look at adaptive memory, guys. See where, I don't even have freeze frame data because the computer never saw anything. So let's take a look. What is it? It's called fuel trim on a lot of scan too, but I think this particular setup, they call it adaptive memory, long-term adaptive memory and short-term adaptive memory. That's what I'm looking for. So hold tight while I stroll. Oh, did I pass it? Purge, injector, 2102, post width. There we go. All right, 11 is trying to compensate, trying to fix, or short term is trying to fix long term. So none of the short term on either bank is out of range, okay? Plus or minus 5 or anything like that. Now let's go to long term. Wow, even long term is not out of range. So guys, fuel wise, the computer see no problem with fuel. Now let me say this, because I used to use adaptive memory to help me diagnose fuel related issues as far as fuel pressure. I used to use long-term fuel if either one of these sides was on the plus high side of say 20, plus 21, plus 25, things like that. Then yeah, that truck is running lean for some reason. Okay, not enough fuel. That used to always lead me to a fuel pump that's not performing up to par. Now I highly recommend you use a fuel pressure gauge because it will do the same thing. But I got to a point back in the older days where this was quicker for me, and it was pretty much 99% accurate. Every time I find high on the plus side, I'm running lean. Now, if I find high on the negative side, It's the opposite. I'm likely running rich, and we are not allowed to use those terms lean and rich anymore. So I would diagnose things like I could potentially diagnose things like a stuck open EGR valve or stuff like that. So these long-term adaptive memory numbers played a major role in my diagnosis over the years. Okay, like I say, you guys scan tool may call it fuel trim, but for the record, there's nothing wrong with these. So should I now not suspect fuel pressure as my problem? Maybe not, guys. I still should grab guys, let me say this, because if you throw a part at this car, it's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. You're gonna be under the watch eye. The dealership's gonna be upset with you. Everybody's gonna be upset. The customer, especially if you don't fix it. I refuse to just say, yep, I guarantee you need a fuel pump. No, guys. A car this old, you need to duplicate the problem. Drive it until it's stalled, and then if you have to, jump out and check fuel pressure. In other words, you the mechanic, you were solely responsible for this car's repair success rate. All right, so I can't send a porter out to drive this thing. Let me know if it died, because he's not gonna know what to do once it's stalled out. So it has to happen to me. So now, should I go up and get some extra diag time, because I could potentially be on the road for 2 hours. Now, the customer has gave us authorization to spend 1 hour on diagnosing it, but it could easily exceed that 1 hour. So you either ask for more time, but I'm speculating right now. So this was a small test drive I went on. I'm gonna let the car run and get hot and then jump on the road. If it stall out, it just stall out. From my understanding, it stalled back up once it's set for a while, meaning the fuel pump cool off and then it start back up. Let's go back over to the car, guys. So what I want you to get out of this, because I'm gonna shut this video down. I don't like leaving them open that long. What I want you to get out of this is try your best to duplicate the problem, guys. Always try to duplicate the problem. You're just bringing pressure on yourself by guessing at anything. This is a stall out. Do not write up anything. I know tune-up is gravy and all that stuff. Don't write none of that up until you duplicate the concern and address the issue. It's nothing like upselling gravy or upselling other stuff and you haven't even addressed the problem they came in for. That is a big no-no. All right, customers have a right to be upset at that point. So before I write up throttle body, injector service, tune-up, battery service, before I write any of that up, I have to find the original complaint she came in for, which may mean I need to go on a longer test drive and I may need extended diagnostic time. So we'll see, guys. The day is Saturday. I'm not going to leave this video open like I say. So I'll let y'all know what happened, man. That's all I can do. But we'll just call this Diagnostic 101 discussion. A lot of people want to see action. Let me see you do something, man. Let me see some assholes and elbows, JT. I want to see your knuckles dirty. Well, we talked on this video, guys. I spoke about the importance of trying to duplicate a problem and how you can go by on the older cars. The new cars, that theory is out of the woodwork, but a lot of you DIY guys are working on older cars now. So you can use fuel trim data or long-term adaptive memory data to help you diagnose fuel pressure or lack of fuel pressure or fuel related issues. Let me say it like that. All right, guys, I gotta shut this down. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Comment, subscribe. Already be subscribed if you want to ask questions, please. And I'll see y'all in the next video.